did my budget this morning, and I literally just sat there staring at my laptop screen in complete silence for 10 minutes.
That bad? What happened?
My grocery bill alone was almost 20% higher than last year. Same list, same store, same regular food. It makes no sense.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're getting into something that literally everyone feels the second they pull out a debit card, but nobody can seem to agree on. How you're actually supposed to build wealth when the baseline cost of just being alive keeps going up.
And I'm warning you right now, we do not agree on how to start this, so expect us to get into it a little bit today.
Oh, it's happening. No holding back.
We're doing it. But let's look at the numbers first, because they show exactly why everyone is so stressed out.
So, right now, prices rose 3.8% this year, but wage growth only hit 3.6%.
Which means inflation is officially moving faster than people's paychecks. Even if you got a tiny raise this year, you actually lost money.
Exactly. And a lot of it is driven by energy costs. Keeping the lights on is up almost 18% year over year.
That tracks. My electric bill last month was absolute insanity.
Same. But here's the part that really bugs me. People are making more money on paper than ever, but they're saving way less. The personal savings rate dropped from over 6% a couple of years ago to just around 3 or 4% right now.
So, more money is coming in, but it's flying right out the window.
Yep, and it's not hitting everyone the same way. Economists are calling it a K-shaped economy for a reason.
Right. The people at the top of the K are doing great because their stocks and houses are going up. But the middle class and lower income families are on the bottom half, getting completely crushed by day-to-day costs.
Which is why the standard advice like just invest 15% of your check sounds totally different depending on which side of that line you're on.
And here we go. Here's where we split.
Look, I'll say it straight out. Even when things are tight, the absolute fastest way to get ahead is to invest aggressively and start early. Time in the market matters way more than the cash amount you start with.
I get the math, but you're skipping a massive step. If you tell someone to throw their last $50 into the stock market when they don't even have a cash cushion, one flat tire or a doctor's bill completely ruins them. They're forced to sell their stocks at a loss or put the emergency on a credit card.
Haha, you always protect the safety net, every single time.
Because I've actually had to live without one. You haven't.
Fair point. You've definitely reminded me of that story a few times.
And I'm going to keep reminding you until you get it.
We'll battle it out over that order of operations in a second. But look at the Fed. They cut interest rates down to around 3.75%.
Which sounds great if you need a loan, but it also means those high-yield savings accounts that were paying 5% are dropping their rates.
So the banks are basically giving you less reward for saving your money.
Exactly. It's just a really weird time to try and make the right moves.
So that's the reality right now. Paychecks aren't keeping up, savings are down, and the average numbers on the news are hiding how tough it really is for regular people.
Stick around. Next, we're moving away from the national data to look at what actual family budgets look like right now. Let's talk about real budgets, because the national averages don't mean anything to someone trying to pay their bills.
I've got a perfect example. A guy I work with, family of 4, both parents working full-time.
What do they make combined?
Around $95,000. Anywhere in mid-America, that sounds like a totally solid income.
But let me guess.
Daycare for their 2 kids costs them over $2,000 a month. Add in their rent, groceries, and gas, and their bank account is basically empty by the middle of the month.
That's the exact story you hear everywhere now. You can make an objectively good salary and still end up living paycheck to paycheck.
I know you've got one too. I can see it on your face.
I do. My cousin is single, no kids, making $62,000 in a normal mid-sized city.
For one person, that should be plenty to live comfortably.
Her rent just went up to $1,650 a month. After taxes and health insurance, she's spending almost half her take-home pay just to keep a roof over her head.
Half? On a basic one-bedroom apartment? That's nuts.
She told me she looked at what her parents were paying at her age on a similar salary, and their rent was only a third of their check, not half.
Agreeing. That gap is exactly why people feel like they're doing everything right and still falling behind. The math has just changed.
And there's actual data to back that up. Official inflation says prices are up 3 or 4%, but if you look at actual household spending, regular budgets are running about 5 to 7% higher than last year.
Curious, why is there such a big difference?
Because the official number counts everything, even things you only buy once every 10 years, like a TV. But your actual bank account cares about the things you have to buy every single week, housing, food, and utilities. And those are the things going up the fastest.
So the number on the news and the number on your bank statement never actually match.
I felt that hard this year. I used to check my budget once a year. Now I feel like I have to tweak it every couple of months just so I don't go into the red.
Same. I literally created a category in my tracker called Prices Went Up Again, half joking, just to cover it.
Half joking, but it's the only way to be honest about it.
See, but this is where I have to push back on your philosophy. People see these prices and use it as a reason to completely stop investing. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Raising an eyebrow. Easy for you to say. If rent takes half your check, where's the extra money supposed to come from?
It's not about finding hundreds of dollars, even if it's just $50 a month, practically nothing. Putting it into a basic index fund consistently is way better than waiting around for a perfect time that never actually comes.
All right, I'll give you that. Starting small early does build the habit.
Look at that. We actually agreed on something.
Don't get used to it. It's not happening again today.
Stick with us. Next, we're talking about why the old advice of just budget better is totally broken for this economy. Let's talk about the standard advice to just budget better, because honestly, I think it's totally lazy and out of touch.
Wait, did you just say that? Aren't you the guy who constantly preaches discipline and cutting back?
I am, but I'm also not blind. Discipline only works on money that actually exists in your account. A budget can't create income out of thin air.
Wow, twice in one day, we are officially on a roll.
Don't tell anyone on the internet.
But you're right. The data shows that regular families aren't broke because they're buying luxury stuff. They're broke because rent, insurance, and basic food take a massive bite out of their paychecks before they even have a chance to save.
Exactly. You can cut out every single coffee, cancel Netflix, and never eat out again, and you're still not going to close a $600 rent gap.
Which is why it drives me crazy when financial gurus act like struggling to get by is just a discipline problem or a lack of willpower.
True, but discipline still matters at the margins of whatever you have left.
And that's where we split again.
All right, let's hear it. Why?
Because telling people to invest no matter what is dangerous if they don't have any cash in the bank. One emergency and they have to pull that money out at a loss, or worse, put it on a credit card and pay 25% interest.
I get the risk, I really do. But my point is that I've seen people wait 5 or 6 years for the right moment to start investing. And guess what? That moment never comes, and they lose years of compounding. Sometimes waiting is the biggest risk of all.
I think both of those things are true. I just think the order matters. Build a small cash cushion first, even just $1,000, and then start turning on the investment engine.
Okay, I can get behind that. It's a step-by-step strategy, not just sitting out completely.
Look at us, finding middle ground like adults.
Enjoy it while it lasts. So here's where we land on part 1. The squeeze is real, it's structural, and a budget spreadsheet alone won't fix a massive gap in your income.
But you aren't helpless either.
Small, consistent moves still matter, even when the economy feels completely stacked against you.
In the next part, we're digging into the real wealth gap numbers, where Americans actually stand right now and why income alone doesn't tell the whole story.
Thanks for hanging out with us through this first part.
In the last part of this series, we covered the squeeze. Now let's talk numbers, where people actually stand on the wealth ladder.
This always catches people off guard. To get into the top 20% in America by net worth, you need around $1 million.
Wait, $1 million only gets you into the top 20%? That doesn't even feel like rich anymore.
Exactly. And to hit the top 20% by income, a household only needs to bring in about $130,000 a year.
Which, honestly, two regular people can hit pretty easily today. Two teachers, two nurses. Depending on where you live, that's totally within reach.
Right. So way more families are in that top 20% income bracket than they realize, but way fewer actually have the top 20% net worth to show for it.
Curious, why is that gap so huge?
Because making money and having wealth are two completely different things. Income is just the cash flowing in. Net worth is what you actually keep and grow.
Yeah, that hit me hard a few years ago. I was making good money, felt super successful, but my bank account was basically empty.
As soon as the paychecks got bigger, the lifestyle got bigger too.
Totally guilty. I got a nicer apartment, a better car, ordered way more takeout. Every single raise I got just disappeared.
Oh, I remember that car.
Don't start.
Look, I'm just saying, it was a beautiful car.
It was, and it also ate every single dime of my raise that year.
By the way, the top 1% holds around 31 to 32% of all the wealth in the country. Just let that sink in for a second.
So literally a third of everything is held by 1 out of every 100 households.
Yeah, which is why comparing yourself to the average American doesn't mean anything. The people at the very top pull the average so high, it skews the whole picture.
And that's one thing we agree on completely. Trying to chase some national average number is a total trap.
Look at us agreeing already.
Don't get comfortable. I've got a fight picked out for later.
Can't wait.
Another number to remember, where you live changes everything.
Obviously, a $2 million net worth in a cheap Midwest town goes a lot further than that same exact amount in San Francisco or New York.
My aunt in Ohio lives a completely relaxed life on less than half of what my friend in California makes. And honestly, she seems way less stressed.
Agreed. Housing costs alone will eat up a massive chunk of your net worth, depending entirely on your zip code.
So the takeaway here is simple. Stop measuring your progress against a national average that has nothing to do with your city or your actual life.
Next, let's talk about why people constantly mistake a high income for actual wealth, because that mix-up trips up a ton of people.
Let's really break this down, because the confusion between income and wealth messes people up all the time.
The habits that actually build wealth are pretty basic. Investing consistently, keeping your spending from creeping up every time you get a raise, avoiding dumb debt, and saving a high percentage of whatever you bring in.
And notice, none of those things require you to have a massive salary to start. They're habits, not an income bracket.
Now, I know a guy who makes maybe $58,000 a year, and he has a higher net worth than some of his friends making double that.
How does he pull that off?
He automated his investing the exact day he got his first real job. He never touched it, and he never really upgraded his lifestyle much either.
Meanwhile, a ton of high earners spend right up to the absolute edge of their paychecks every single month.
You can be in the highest income bracket for years and still never turn that cash into real lasting wealth.
That was literally my entire 20s. Great paychecks, absolutely nothing to show for it 5 years later.
Back to the car again.
The car, the trips, the I work hard, I deserve this mindset, all of it.
Lifestyle creep is sneaky because every single purchase feels totally reasonable in the moment.
Agreed. It's never one massive bad decision. It's 50 small ones that just add up over time.
But this is actually where I want to challenge that old saying people love to throw around.
Go for it. Which one?
People love saying, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. I think that's only half true today.
Wait, are you arguing against yourself now?
A little bit, yeah. Good habits matter. But if your income is too low, there's literally nothing left to keep, no matter how disciplined you are.
That ties right back to what we said in part 1. It's a mix of structural costs and personal behavior, not just behavior by itself.
Exactly. Discipline only works once your basic bills aren't devouring 100% of your money.
See, I told you I had a disagreement ready, but then you just went ahead and agreed with yourself anyway.
Hey, I contain multitudes.
So here's the reality. Your income sets the ceiling on what's possible, but your habits determine how much of that money you actually keep and grow.
Next, let's get into the debate about wealth versus protection, because this is where we actually disagree.
All right, here is our actual argument for the day. A study came out showing that 52% of Americans say they focus way too much on building wealth and not nearly enough on protecting it.
Curious, protecting it how? Like what?
Insurance, cash reserves, managing risk, basic safety nets, not just trying to make the number grow.
And let me guess, that gap is the widest with younger people?
Yeah, millennials specifically, around 62%. They're all about chasing growth, completely skipping the protection side.
Okay, here's where I have to push back. I think that way of looking at it ignores how much time matters when you're young.
How so?
If you're 28, you have decades for your investments to compound. If you obsess over protection too early, you're missing out on growth that you can never get back later in life.
I hear you, but one bad medical emergency with no coverage can wipe out years of investment gains in a single month. That's a massive risk to just ignore.
Fair. I'm not saying don't have any insurance.
It kind of sounds like you are, though.
Okay, maybe a little. I just think a lot of financial advice scares people into overprotecting everything way too early.
But the data backs up the protection side. People who work with an advisor to cover both growth and protection report feeling way more financially secure than the average person.
Even if they don't have more money?
That's the wild part. Feeling secure correlates more with having an actual plan than with the actual amount in your bank account.
Okay, that's actually a really good point. Confidence isn't just about the raw number, it's about having a real framework around it.
So, where do we actually land on this?
I'll admit that having a baseline safety net, a real emergency fund, and basic insurance needs to come before aggressive investing, not after.
Wait, did you just completely agree with me?
Don't push your luck. I still think a lot of people overprotect and undergrow the second that baseline is taken care of.
That I can actually agree with. Baseline first, then lean into growth hard.
Look at us, actually finding middle ground on the one thing we were supposed to fight about.
So here's the straightforward takeaway. Protect the basics first, then build aggressively. Both matter, you just have to do them in the right order.
In the next part, we're getting fully practical, the exact moves people are making to build wealth right now.
Thanks for putting up with our bickering today.
See you guys in the next part.
All right, time to get practical. What are people actually doing with their money right now in 2026?
Honestly, standard index funds and ETFs are still the foundation for most people. Low fees, broad diversification, no overthinking.
Yeah, an S&P 500 index fund historically returns around 7 to 10% a year after you adjust for inflation. It's hard to beat that over the long haul.
I remember putting my first $100 into an index fund years ago. It felt almost silly because the amount was so tiny.
Silly how? Like it wasn't worth the effort?
Exactly. You think, what is $100 going to do for my life? But I just kept adding to it every single month, and it actually snowballs way faster than people think.
That's just classic dollar cost averaging, putting the same exact amount in every month, whether the market is up, down, or sideways.
That takes all the guesswork out of it. You aren't trying to time the market, you're just showing up consistently.
Which is huge because most people, even the professionals on Wall Street, usually fail miserably when they try to time the market.
Chasing whatever stock is hot on social media usually just drains your energy and loses to a boring index fund anyway.
Teasing the guy who threw money at that one random meme stock 2 years ago?
Oh, we really don't need to bring that up on camera.
Oh, I absolutely need to bring that up.
Fine, look, it taught me the lesson the hard way. Boring and consistent wins every single time.
And you have to maximize Roth IRAs and 401ks before you touch anything fancier.
For sure, max out the tax-advantaged accounts first, and if your employer offers a match, take it. That is quite literally free money left on the table.
I completely ignored my company match for almost 2 years when I started working. Just left real cash behind out of pure ignorance.
Ouch. That one actually hurts to hear.
Yeah, I learned my lesson fast once I sat down and did the math on what I'd missed out on.
Yeah, bonds are worth a mention too. With where interest rates are sitting right now, treasuries and I-bonds look a lot more attractive than they have in a long time.
Agreed. They're great for balancing out stock market volatility, especially if you're getting closer to a milestone where you actually need the cash.
Next up, let's get into real estate, because this is where you and I look at the world completely differently.
Oh boy, here we go.
All right, real estate. Even with how crazy things are right now, I still think owning property is one of the single best wealth-building moves you can make.
I actually disagree with that, at least as a blanket rule for everyone.
Seriously? Even knowing that home equity is the biggest source of long-term wealth for most American families?
Look, it can be powerful if you can genuinely afford to buy a good property. But if you buy a bad house, overextend your budget, or buy in the wrong market, it can absolutely wreck you financially.
Okay, that's fair. Not every single property purchase turns out to be a winner.
And let's be real. A ton of people simply cannot buy right now anyway. Home prices in a lot of cities are completely disconnected from local salaries.
That's true, which is exactly why REITs are such a great middle ground.
Break that down real quick for anyone who hasn't heard the acronym before.
Real estate investment trusts. They're basically public funds that own large portfolios of income-producing property. You get exposure to the real estate market without having to buy an actual physical building.
So you get the financial returns without the massive mortgage, the tenants, or the leaky roof at 2 in the morning.
Exactly. Historically, they return around 8 to 10%, which is super close to direct property ownership, just without any of the landlord headaches.
I actually put a small chunk of money into a REIT fund last year instead of stressing over a down payment I wasn't ready to pull the trigger on yet.
How's that worked out for you?
Honestly, it feels great. I get real estate exposure without the weight of a massive mortgage hanging over my neck.
I still think direct ownership wins long term, if your finances are truly ready for it. The combination of leverage and market appreciation is tough to beat.
I won't argue with that part. If you can buy smart, it's an incredible tool. I just don't think it's the only path to wealth or even the right one for everyone in this current market.
That's fair. I think I was treating it like a universal solution when it's really not.
Wow, look at you. Progress. Changing your mind mid-conversation.
All right, don't make it weird.
So here's the bottom line. Real estate is powerful if the numbers work, but REITs are a legitimate, low-stress alternative if you aren't ready to buy a home yet.
Next, let's wrap this up with emergency funds and lifestyle creep, because that ties this entire puzzle together.
Let's close this out with the stuff that sounds boring but is incredibly important. Emergency funds first, no matter what.
Absolutely. 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting somewhere safe where you can grab it instantly if things hit the fan.
And high-yield savings accounts are key here. Don't just leave that emergency cash sitting idle in a regular checking account making zero interest.
Moving my emergency fund to a high-yield account a couple of years ago was the simplest move, but now it actually earns real money every month instead of pennies.
Yeah, every single percentage point matters when inflation is trying to eat your cash.
And this ties directly back to what we said about lifestyle inflation in part 2. The size of your emergency fund has to grow as your expenses grow.
Right. People upgrade their whole life, nicer place, more subscriptions, but they leave their old emergency fund exactly the same size it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, totally guilty of that one too, honestly. I got a bigger apartment, but kept the exact same safety net from my early career days.
Well, at least it wasn't a car upgrade this time.
Low blow, but totally fair.
The real financial discipline isn't just about earning more money. It's about making sure your savings and investments grow at the exact same pace your income does.
Exactly. Every single raise, every bonus, a percentage of it needs to go to future you before current you even gets a chance to see it.
Right. Automating the whole thing completely removes the willpower problem. You aren't tempted to spend it if it's already gone before you check your balance.
That is honestly the one thing we have agreed on 100% this entire episode. Automate the investments first, figure out the rest later.
Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find something new to fight about in the next part.
I'm counting on it.
So, here is the foundational blueprint. Index funds and retirement accounts are your base, real estate or REITs, depending on your budget, and an emergency fund that actually grows with your lifestyle.
In the next part, we're bringing in real stories from real people, talking about starting from absolute zero and how to catch up if you're starting mid-career.
Thanks for sticking with us through all our bickering today.
See you guys in the final part.
Final part of this series, let's talk about actually starting from zero. Because honestly, that's where most people are realistically trying to kick things off.
I've got a perfect example. A guy I know, 24 years old, working a minimum wage job, and had genuinely $0 saved.
Where did he even start?
He just set up $50 a month to automatically go into an index fund. He told me it felt embarrassingly small at the time.
Agreed. That's basically your exact story too, right? The $100 that felt completely pointless.
Exactly the same feeling, but he kept it on autopilot and never touched it, even through a really rough year where his car broke down.
Did he end up dipping into his investments to pay for the car?
Nope, because he actually built a tiny cash cushion first, completely separate from the investments. He used that instead.
See, that's the exact sequence we've been talking about. Get the safety net locked down first, and then let the growth engine run untouched.
3 years later, he's got a real, solid little portfolio. It's nothing crazy, but he's genuinely got more saved than most people his age.
And that's the reality of how this works. It's not overnight wealth, it's just consistency compounding quietly in the background.
I think that's the part people underestimate the most. It is boring, genuinely boring for years before it actually looks like real money.
But boring is the whole point. The exciting money stories are almost always the ones that end in disaster.
Says the person who bought a car they couldn't actually afford.
Wow, I walked straight into that one, didn't I?
Yep, you absolutely did.
To the audience, look, if you're starting from genuinely nothing right now, those small, boring, consistent moves are the actual path forward. It's not a dramatic strategy, but it's a real one.
Next, let's talk about catching up mid-career, because that comes with its own completely different set of challenges. Trying to catch up mid-career is a totally different beast. You have less time on your side, but you usually have a lot more income to work with.
I know someone in this exact spot. She's in her mid-40s, had almost nothing saved for retirement, and was starting to completely panic.
What shifted for her? What changed?
She finally went in and maxed out her employer match, which was something she had completely ignored for over a decade.
Ouch! A whole decade of free money just left on the table?
I know, it's painful to think about, but she couldn't change the past. She just had to start where she was.
And this is where I think people get way too pessimistic. Your 40s is not too late. In fact, it's usually your prime earning decade.
I actually agree with you 100% on this one. The timeline is shorter, sure, but your income and your overall stability are usually way higher than when you were in your 20s.
Plus, higher contribution limits kick in once you hit 50. Catch-up contributions exist inside the tax code for this exact reason.
She also cut out a few recurring subscriptions she wasn't using and redirected that cash straight into her retirement account instead of just letting it leak out.
Small moves, but when you stack them together during your peak earning years, they add up way faster than people expect.
The math actually works out differently than people assume. Making larger contributions over a shorter period can still get you most of the way to the finish line.
Exactly, unlike someone's random meme stock experiment.
Okay, we are really not letting that go, are we? It's been the entire series.
Nope. True character development requires accountability.
So if you're mid-career and you feel like you're behind, you are genuinely not out of time. The playbook is just a little different than if you were 22.
Let's wrap this entire series up with our honest, bottom-line closing thoughts.
All right, 4 parts, a ton of data, and a lot of bickering. Let's actually bring this home.
Look, prices are genuinely moving faster than paychecks right now. That is a real fact. It's not just in your head.
And the squeeze is structural. It's not just a willpower issue. Rent, healthcare, and childcare take up a way bigger bite of the paycheck than they used to.
But your habits still matter massively inside that reality. Your income sets the ceiling, but your behavior determines how much you actually keep.
Baseline protection first, emergency fund, basic insurance, and then you focus on growth. That's the exact order of operations we landed on.
Use index funds and retirement accounts as your base, and look into real estate or REITs depending on what your actual budget allows.
And automate absolutely everything you can so you don't have to rely on willpower to do the heavy lifting.
Whether you are starting from absolute zero or trying to catch up mid-career, the actual path to success is boring, consistent, and rarely dramatic.
Honestly, that might be the most important takeaway from this whole series. Boring works. Dramatic usually leaves you broke.
Man, I wish someone's meme stock loss could have told us that sooner.
I genuinely regret telling you that story.
No, you don't. It made for great content.
So wherever you're starting from today, whether it's genuinely nothing, mid-career anxiety, or somewhere right in the middle, the moves are learnable, and it is never too late to start.
Thank you guys so much for sticking with us through this entire series. It's been a ton of fun to argue through all of this with you.
Fun for you, maybe. I had to defend my honor over a car payment the whole time.
Hey, it was totally worth it.
If this series helped you look at your own money a little bit differently, make sure to share it with someone who needs to hear it too.
Absolutely. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Stay safe, stay focused, and even if you have to start small, just start. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys. Take care.